Hello to all, and that means everybody. Steve here, doing a very quick little video. Yes, I know, they get annoying sometimes, don't they? But, I don't know, I'm compelled. And again, the subject, abortion, and the pro-life cause. And that because our fine state of Missouri has amended the Constitution to declare that women everywhere have a right, at least according to Melania Trump, from birth, no irony there, to abort their children. It's a constitutional right. So the journey that a child, unbeknownst, takes toward abortion. Let's start in the public school sector, where children are recruited, lied to, and misguided through sex education to go out and do things with each other that they ought not be doing. What comes as a result? I know, a conceived child, and now a need for an abortion. So some people like to think of abortion as something that is safe and rare. They don't realize that Planned Parenthood is out recruiting in all the schools across our entire nation, dragging children into immoral behavior and bad practices so that they will conceive children. So that is their purpose. They want to create clients, right? Like any normal business, you want to go out and try and drum up business. What do? Well, you start beating the bushes. So you get out to the public schools, you mislead the children, they create more children, and now they need to go in and get rid of the problem. Now let's take it all the way to the nth degree, because the big question is, aren't there limitations to abortion? Aren't there like gestational limitations? And the answer is, out of one side of one's mouth, yeah, there are on paper, but then on the other side, or out the other side of my mouth, I can talk about all the exceptions. We'll use New York as the example. New York has very, very broadly written exceptions that really pretty much become the rule. All right, so what kind of an exception would open it up to the rule? Health, the mother's health. Abortion after a certain period of time is illegal in the state of New York, except for whether or not that patient or that pregnancy is affecting the woman's health. And that also includes mental health. And the definition for mental health is very, very broad. It could just be emotional trouble, emotional trauma, or however you want to describe it. So that means that any woman, any mother can get an abortion up to the day before birth or the day of birth. And there are times when these children are being born alive and then they're being murdered after the fact. I recall years ago sitting in a House Ways and Means Committee meeting in Washington, D.C. At Congress, and I was listening to testimony being given about an abortion clinic that was killing children, live babies in metal pans after they were accidentally born. We tried to kill them, Your Honor, but it didn't work. And the way that these twin boys were murdered was that they were drowned in a pan. And then I know it's horrible to talk about, and I am not trying to sound flippant here, folks. Then they cracked open their chests and saw their beating hearts. And that was the testimony that was given at the time to Congressman Steve Largent, who was a congressman at that time. You may remember him from yesteryear as a wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks back in the 80s. But anyway, this is the reality, okay? This is what Missouri just added as an amendment to our Constitution. I really need you to think about that. Any child can be recruited, especially if they're in public schools, but the liberalism has leaked into just about every other kind of school too. Not all, but most. So children are out making other children. They find themselves in a bad situation. All right. Carol Everett, a person I've known for years, used to own abortion clinics until she had a conversion and got rid of it all and moved away from it. Her goal at that time was to become a millionaire. She walked into classrooms and did sex education presentations. And based on her numbers, she knew that within about 3 weeks of visiting any particular classroom, the kids in that classroom would start calling her abortion clinic to have abortions, because she was showing them what to do and then handing out placebo birth control. True story. So Planned Parenthood is out recruiting. They know how to do it. They're very good. And besides, just think about what they're selling and to whom they are selling it. It's not that big. It's not that big of a hill to climb. Okay, so these kids are being lied to, misled, and then they're becoming pregnant, and now they need a solution. And even if they wait up until the day before birth, if the pregnancy makes them cry and feel weepy, that fits as a health exception, so they can murder the child up till birth. That's pretty much the case anywhere you find exceptions because they're written so broadly. I was just using New York as a primary example, but you can find that in many other states as well. Don't be fooled by exceptions like, oh, well, abortion's rare here because we only do it except for this reason and except for that reason. That is not true. Those exceptions become the rule, which is why we still have more than 1 million abortions a year. Have a great day.